This is an absolute machine now.
Get out! You're joking. G'day, Stu from UAVfutures here, and today, well, let's get ready to test out some interesting prototypes. Guys, this one is going to be a bit of a different video. This is not your usual drone you see on the channel. Yes, it's an FPV little, I guess you could say race drone, but you're probably not going to be racing with it. But the interesting one about this one, they are offering insane flight times, which I thought was going to be a bit of a hoax, but turned out to kind of be true. And also, this thing, it's made out of like a 3D printed rubber, so you can bend and crash this thing as much as you want. And apparently, it's going to hold up and be very, very durable. So what this is, it is, and I'm going to butcher the name, and I got a few emails from these guys. They asked me to test them out, so I don't know. This is not the final version. This is just like a prototype and making a video about it, all that sort of stuff. But it's from Lithuania anyway, and it's like Aguna. Well, I don't even know how to say that. It's links down below anyway if you want to check it out. But it's a little 3D printed rubber drone that offers crazy flight times in a pretty strange little shape. I mean, if I put that in there, it almost looks like a little bottle of wine with 4 little props and motors hanging off it. So what we're going to do, we're going to break it down, put it on the bench, look at the text and the specs, discuss it a little bit, the pros and cons and all that sort of stuff, and then we're going to go out to the field, see what Granger thinks about it. I think Tony's out there as well, flying this thing around and just get some impressions, show you some DVR, some stupid long flight times, which I must admit I was not expecting anywhere near this much. I mean, like, I think we got over 10 minutes. It was ridiculous. And yeah, just find out how this little craft goes. So as a bit of an overview, and I should stress, I can't stress this enough, I do have some prototype versions. I think I've got 3 of them lying around. Some of these things might have changed, or they might be taking my feedback and going back to the drawing board, all that sort of stuff. But what it is, it's a little bind and fly race quad that's been 3D printed. It spins 3-inch props. It can take a 2, 3, or a 4S pack. Yes, we're kind of going low on the I guess the voltages right there, and you pull, it's meant to have this little bit of a handle here, but I don't find that helps whatsoever. You pull this little bit off, and inside you've just got all our normal FPV components that we're going to go through in a moment. But the big one about this, it's rubber frame that's been, well, I don't know what this plastic actually is, but it's kind of just, it's still fairly rigid. I thought I was going to get some jellos, but I'm happy to say that wasn't the case, at least on the 2S flight that I did. And yeah, it should be able to absorb some of those impacts. So if you want something you can kind of bash around all day, that's pretty cool. And also, if you look at how far the camera is out towards the front, it means you're going to get kind of a unique FPV experience. You're really going to be in below the prop line, so it does feel kind of cool flying this thing around, the actual when you're on the sticks. Now let's go through, look at some of the components. So starting at the outside in, I guess we've got our 3-blade props. I think it gives you a whole list right here. They're jam fan props, by the way. The motors, they're pretty tiny. They're just little 1206. I think they're 6,000 kV. I'll put it on the screen anyway. But it's designed mainly, they recommend, on a 3S, or 2S if you want to do some puttering and long flight times. But it can also go up to a 4S, and you'll see exactly what happens when Granger decides to put it on the sticks. He loved it, but disaster might have struck. Moving towards the middle, of course, we've got our 4-in-1. I think it's a 16 amp HDLRC stack, a 15 amp ESC. We've got a HDLRC little antenna in the front right there. Of course, I've got a bind and fly version, so it's going to bind up to free sky. And then on the front, we've got a tiny little CADX, which I got to say was given a very, very nice picture. It all is neatly put in this little package that you can put together, and then you go out, clip this bit down, and you are off to the races, so to say. I do think it comes in, get this piece of paper out of the way. Oh, you also get some nice instructions too. I don't know if they're going to be updating these, but there's pages and pages and stuff in here, which is a nice little addition. Now, if we flip it over, you can see we've got a little buzzer, we've got some LEDs on the back, and then this part I don't really like. We've got our XT30 connector right here, which is honestly one of the stupidest places I've ever seen for a little battery connector. You'll hear me talk about that in the pros and the cons, but that's kind of it for the components. Oh, and you get this Velcro strap, which I'm not a fan of these ones at all. I really like the ones you can wrench down. This bad boy just seems to be a little bit annoying. Now let's move on, talk about the design of the thing, and I've got to say, props off, props, well done boys, because I kind of like it. I thought it was going to be pretty rubbish, but I did exceed my expectations. And I remember I wrote these guys an email. They're like, can you please check this out? And back and forth, I was like, man, if I just want to save you guys some time and money, I don't think it's worth sending me this. It kind of looks like junk and doesn't look like something I'm be interested in. They said that it can do up to 20-minute flight times, and I said, that's garbage, no way. fair enough. They sent me back a video of this thing flying for 20 minutes. I'll see if I'm allowed to link that down below or something. But they did get a 20-minute flight time. Yes, it was just a hover, but that's still fairly impressive for this little drone. So yeah, I've got to say I like how it comes towards the front. I like they're using a new material. I like how it's kind of flexy, and it didn't really affect the flight characteristics this much of this little craft. But for what it does, I got to say, I do kind of like it much more than I thought I was. So it's great to be surprised like that. The quality of the thing, well, we had a bit of a disaster struck out in the field. It's a bit hit and miss with some of the 3D printing. Sometimes you get a few cracks and lines running through them, and I'm not too sure. You know, I think the print, hopefully they're going to get a little bit better in the future, so I'm not too sure about that. But yeah, I'm just going to say it's an average quality. The components I do quite like. I like the camera, but it still just does need a little bit of a refining, or so to speak. But I guess that's because they're working on some new models. These are definitely the prototype ones. And then let's move on to the pros and the cons. The things I like, things I didn't like. I like the material it's made out of. I like the components it's got in here. I like the flight times you get. I like how just cool and different it is. I think it's going to turn some heads, and it's nice to have something that's not made out of carbon. I'm not too sure what the price is, so I can't comment on that. But what I don't like, there's a couple of things I find a little bit irritating. So number one, that'd be the quality of the actual shell itself. I'm not too sure how that is going to hold up in terms of just the wear and tear, because there's a few, I guess, I don't know, like gaps in the printing. It's not the nicest 3D printing job. And then there's some other really stupid decisions that I'm going to say, guys, did you even fly this? Whoever designed this, what were you thinking? And that comes down to, let me get a battery. This is one of the dumbest things I've ever seen. So you've got to put your battery in here. I don't like that it's an XT30. That part drives me up the wall. But let's say we put our battery on here. Let's pretend we could plug this in, and that's going to go about there. So have a look at this. The battery now, because we've got to plug into this little bit, we put our lead in. The battery is sitting so far forward on your actual craft that it's ridiculous. Why? Why have they made that so? So I think there's a new version with a battery plug at the back, but that's kind of the things that you just want to say in the first place. Mate, did you even plug this in and fly? Did you ever think to yourself, gee, maybe we should change that? And luckily that is one of the things that they should change, but I would just like that to be, it shouldn't even have that option. If you're making these drones, it makes me wonder, have you missed something else, or is there something else like that you should be working on? Luckily, they've changed it. I think I'll put a picture on the screen in some new versions where it should be coming out the back, and they've gotten rid of this LED board, which I say good riddance. That's all fantastic, but I would like it to be an XT60 as well. So XT60 seems to be my preferred choice. So that's probably it. There's a few little nuances in the cons, but that's it on the bench. Let's do it now. Let's go out to the field, fly it around, have some fun with the boys, and see what they think about the, I don't even know how to say this, the 3D flexi drone that from Lithuania. So let's do it. Go have some fun in the field with the prototype in 3, 2, 1. Radio out here in the field. Let's do it. We're going to scream this. Well, I don't know if scream's going to be the right word. Fly this little 3D printed drone around. We've got some 4S. We'll see how it goes. See just how durable it is. Is it going to be good? I'm not too sure. We'll see what the other boys think. We've got Granger, Long Range Tony, and just have some fun with this little interesting piece of plastic. Radio, let's do it. Okie dokie, here we go, showing you some DVR, and what I do like, because this thing can take a 2, 3, or a 4S, I like how they've got the voltage set up. So up the top, I'd probably move it there, but also it's just showing your cell voltage, so it doesn't matter what battery you plug in, you're still going to be able to check your voltage. Now, I'm actually flying around on a 2S at the moment. It's a 2000 milliamp 2S, and I think it was fully charged. I don't know why it's starting there. I'm not too sure if it's calibrated correctly, but what is the most important thing here, I want you to look at the flight time in the bottom right hand corner. And look, I'm not just hovering around. You can see for a 2S, I'm still just cruising around, having some fun. It's not just like a 20-minute hover in one spot, so it's much more realistic to the actual flight times you might be expecting on here, but it's still far exceeded my expectations. Granger was actually freaking out watching the OSD. It was pretty ridiculous. But here we go. Let's talk about the actual flight characteristics. So you can see it has a little bit of a little bit of punch and a little bit of poke. And also when you see Granger flying it around on 4S, I thought this was a plane. Turns out that was actually a hawk in the sky. But yeah, on 4S, you'll see Granger doing some actual pretty funky freestyle with this thing before, you know, things happen, and you'll see exactly what Granger does. But on 4S, you'll see some footage of that even soon, very soon, where it is actually going pretty crazy. But what do you guys think for a little 2S racer? I think the colors are nice. I was impressed with the reception. I wasn't really getting too much breakup or anything like that, and it just felt like a really fun little cruiser. On 2S, the power wasn't outstanding or anything like that, but it's super light and just flying around, and I think you'll admit it's almost got like this slightly cinematic style when it's just coasting over the grass and all that sort of stuff. It was very, very fun to fly around. I wasn't getting any oscillations. I thought the rubber or the bendy arms might be coming into play here, but I got to say they kind of have done their homework, and it does seem to be working a little bit, even though the battery balance was off place. So you can see here's a full punch on a 2S. It's definitely not disappearing. You can do a little bit of acro on a 2S, but if you want to do that, definitely go to a 3S or even a 4S, but I should stress 3S. But yeah, it was just a fun little flight experience that I thought worked better. Now, what I am going to do with the magic of editing, I'm going to cut and chop a few different places, because look, we're at flight time 2 minutes and 10 seconds, but look what happens if I do this. And with a little bit of editing, okay, we're up to 3 minutes, and look, it's saying low battery now. They're almost scared Tony gone through there. He got into the defensive pose, but then we can fast forward. Look at that flight time on the right. Okay, we're getting 4 minutes. Not too bad. We're still getting some low battery warnings and telling me to land now. And it's not like we're just cruising. I want to stress that. It's not like we're just sitting here hovering. We're actually still really flying around, going all over the place. We're looking at the flight time. We're up to 7 minutes now. We're still cruising around. We can't believe it. I'm actually thinking, right, I'm just going to run this battery into the ground, see exactly what happens. It's definitely making a lot of beeping noise. We keep going, and yeah, I just couldn't believe it. Now we're up around the 9 minutes 50-second mark, and that is absolutely freaking ridiculous when you think about, okay, we've just about hit the 10-minute mark. It's absolutely ridiculous you can actually get that much flight time. So I've got to say, hats off to the boys when it comes to flight time. Even though this was only on a 2S, it was pretty insane. I know now I'm going pretty slow because I guess I was trying to go for the record, but overall, I've got to say, hats off to the boys. When it comes to flight time, this was far beyond my greatest expectations. I have no idea how this craft managed to fly this long. It is very, very efficient. Definitely not used to this flight times. Usually, 90 seconds to 2 minutes is where I'm at, and having a 10-minute flight time is insane. But what we should do, let's turn it over to Granger, see what the other boys think about it. We'll see what happens when Granger flies it on 4S, and it's, again, a different beast. Radio Granger, here it is, a little 3D printed drone. First impressions, and you just saw me fly it for about 10 minutes, which I got to say was unexpected. Yeah, you were watching some of the FPV feeds saying go more.
Yeah, that was crazy how you flew it for 10 minutes. I mean, it obviously doesn't look the most appealing, but...
You don't like look?
Nah, it's different.
Okay.
But yeah, you flew it for 11 minutes. It's like a mini long-range cruiser.
Right, and what do you think about this kind of flexy material kind of stuff?
I don't mind it, actually, because of how light it is. It's just going to bounce and bend. I don't think you'll break it. You can't really go fast enough to break it, but...
Now, I was only flying around on 2S, so I'm going to put you on a 4S.
Oh, geez, 4S. Okay. That little CADX, I like how he's printed it, honestly. It sort of looks like a lizard or some sort of animal like that.
Alright, so should we put it on the sticks?
Let's put it on the sticks.
Let's go. Go, Granger.
Whoa. Jesus Christ.
What's up?
Look at that. Watch this.
Whoa.
What?
What's happening?
Now it feels like a race quad. Okay, it's got a little bit of oscillation, but hold on. Let me just do this.
What are you doing?
This is an absolute machine now.
Get out! You're joking.
Oh, dead. Told you. 4S.
What happened?
4S.
Oh, and the Hawk's coming to get it. Dinner time. He's looking. Is he going to get it? Let's see.
Oh, I love it.
Please take it.
Oh.
Make it sound like it's injured.
Oh no, it's dead.
It's dead?
It's probably on fire. So it couldn't take 4S.
You can. Let's go and have a look.
Hold on. Wait, it's getting lower. You never know. You could be going for it. It could be the attack. You could swoop down for it. Here we go. Oh.
Come on.
That was... Holy crap, that thing is insane.
But what happened? Maybe the battery came out doing some of your spins?
Maybe. It could have been, but...
Or did it just die? Did you have video when it was falling?
Everything cut out.
Oh, so it's like...
And then I had a bit of video on the ground. I reckon either ESCs or motors or something like that's just catastrophically gone wrong. But man, that thing was insane when it was working.
Let's have a look.
Nah, she's still plugged in.
Yep.
Let me point that out.
So unplug, let's give it a bit of a smell.
Plug her in again.
I really hate this stupid place where they put the plug.
Yeah,
like, do they even fly and ever think about, oh, maybe this is where our battery needs to go? It's not ideal. Hang on, we've got the remote. Give me a go.
That thing was insane though, was before us. Maybe it's a desync or something like that. But everything cut out, including video.
Oh, I don't have video.
Maybe the camera died.
Yeah, I've got no video.
Maybe just... but it was plugged in before and it wasn't... Oh, maybe that's what it was.
What?
A sketchy connection.
No, because it...
Wiggle it.
Oh, it's back.
Wiggle the... Yeah, see? I reckon that's what it was.
Okay.
When I was flying.
Yep. So we're putting too much pressure.
Yeah, it's just a sketchy connection. Jesus Christ, that thing flew fast.
Let's push it back then like this. Now I'm going to fly.
It just unplugged.
No, that's good.
Wait. Right, go. I'll stay here.
Alright, so what did you... Hang on, Granger. So what did you think about it on 4S?
Insane. Like,
You actually enjoyed it?
I honestly thought it was going to be a pile of crap, honestly. But it's really fast. Bit of oscillations to be expected because it's made like out of this 3D.
I'm not even filming you. I don't know what I was filming.
But
anyway. Alright. Just cut Granger off.
Okay.
Let's have a little hover here, see what happens. Because I'm pretty sure that it's just got like a loose connection in the XT30 part. Oh, we just cut out.
Got that on film, Tony.
Nah.
No, I think something else is on.
Something's gone bad. Alright. So
That's disappointing for you because it was insane on 4S.
I wanted to give it more of a crack. I don't know, it still needs a few revisions. Rightio, there it is. There's my review of the 3D printed drone from over in Lithuania. I wish I could pronounce the name. Someone's gonna have to tell me in the comments how do I pronounce this thing. But overall, I'm gonna say I did like it on 2S. It was pretty fun. It does have some shortcomings. I'm not too sure of the price. Would I fly it around more? You know what? I probably would because I don't feel like the frame is gonna be breaking from impact. It might be breaking from wear and tear or just a little, I don't know, like the actual, what do you call it, the bonds of the plastic coming apart. I don't see that happening straight away, but you know, that is something I do wish they'd change. And also another bit, I hope they change the battery plug, which I know they're going to be doing in future versions. But on 4S, Granger was absolutely amazed. Like I remember asking him off camera later, like, man, are you serious? You really are enjoying it that much? And he's like, yes, it was amazing. He couldn't believe it, but it is such a shame that it just stopped working. Now I know we do get a little, something was going on there, like the power was coming off and on. It could have been the battery connector, but more than likely it was probably some issues. It's just not really ready to handle a 4S. The battery placement wasn't right. They've got a little bit of refinement in my eyes that they need to do before this thing is truly up to like just a cool little drone that's doing something different. But what do you guys think? Drop your comments down below. Do you like to see these different types of drones? If you've got some, I guess, encouragement or some suggestions for them, put them down below. For me, I'm a big believer of let's get as many people out there designing new interesting ideas and with new materials, because I see so many carbon frames that are so similar. It is really cool to see something that's doing it a little bit different. And also I like this little canopy part, I must say. The way that sort of clips in like there, it's very well protected, probably well waterproofed, and the little camera out the front that's sort of away from the props and underneath them did offer a bit of a unique feeling on the sticks. But that's it. Subscribe for more FPV related content. Don't know what's happening to my voice, and as always, happy flying. Happy bending and 20 minute flying, maybe over 10 minutes. That you got to admit, that was pretty cool.